Hi everyone, it's Courtney and welcome to a WIP parade video. It's been a while since I made a video, so there have been a lot of different things I've worked on over the last couple months. Although I think I only have one finish that's new to show you, and the rest of the progress that I've made is pretty minor, just here and there. But I've pulled out a bunch of different things that we can look at today. So I'll go ahead and start with my one finish. This is another one of the books Princesses that I've been working on. I had already showed you Cinderella and Belle, and now I've got Snow White finished. So there she is. I had just as much fun with this one as I did with the other two. I think there's actually slightly less embellishment on this one than there was on Cinderella, certainly, and probably Belle as well. The Krennic is really only in the outline of her red robe and the dark blue here in her bodice. And then there's just a couple of scattered beads throughout the design. But yeah, I think it's super cute. And I really love it. I haven't got any of them framed yet. I just have them kind of rolled up together, lying on top of each other, and I'm mildly concerned about the ribbons getting flattened. But until I actually make the commitment to get them framed, I guess there's nothing I can really do about that. But this is basically how they've been sitting together. At least they're not rolled up quite as tightly as the rest of my finishes that aren't yet framed. But yeah. The next several pieces I have to show you are all Mirabilias. A couple months ago I went to the Mirabilia Minions retreat here in San Antonio that Leslie LaFleur of Under the Sea Fabrics helps organize every year. And it was awesome, really fun, and so I worked on all of my Mirabilias that I had already started while I was there, and I also started one more while I was there, of course, so I can show you all of those. Let's see, I'll start with this one. No, yes, this one. This one is Shimmering Mermaid, and it still is not very far along, but I got a little bit more of her tail done, and I'll show you the pattern here. This is the one. So last time I worked on this was part of Stitch Mania 2017, which was forever ago, and really all I did was this purple ribbon here, but I did all of these scales on her hips and her tail while I was at the Mirabilia retreat. I really love these colors, and it's fun to work on the opalescent fabric too. This fabric is from Under the Sea Fabrics. I think it's like angelic or something like that. Angel. 32 count Lugana. This one hasn't really been very high on my list of priorities, so I probably won't pick her up again for a while. But she is really fun to work on when I do. The second one that I worked on was also a mermaid. This one is slightly more exciting to me. Oh, that's not the mermaid. This one? Yeah. This is Gypsy Mermaid. And this might look really similar to the last time I showed her before as well, because all I did was add more of her tail, which I had started last time, I'm pretty sure, but I kept working on that. So this is her picture, that's what she'll look like. This one I'm not quite sure what order to go about things, because a lot of the gaps that are here in her tail are where I'm supposed to use Karen water lilies, and I do have those, but I'm concerned about actually putting them in because I'm worried that I will have to wash this project just because it's been so long since I started it, and I'm sure it'll be a long time until I'm about to finish it. And so I'm afraid it'll be dirty by then, and if I wash it, then the water lilies might run. So I was thinking I would do all the DMC first, but it's just kind of discouraging, and I feel like I don't make very much progress when I leave big swaths of fabric open like that. I would rather, you know, finish it and put in the water lilies. So maybe I'll just try to be more careful with it and put the water lilies in anyway and just not wash it. I don't know. If you have an opinion, you can let me know what you think. Also, if I don't put the water lilies in, it's a little bit harder to travel to other areas of the design because this blue water is a water lily as well. So if I wanted to go out and, you know, do the border or something, I would have to do a lot of counting, which I don't really want to do if I don't have to. So that's Gypsy Mermaid by Mirabilia. One of the biggest treats we had at the Mirabilia retreat was that Nora Corbett came to the retreat and hung out with us, and so a bunch of people got to spend a lot of time talking to her, and she was telling stories about how she started designing and stuff, and about her life and her artistic, I don't know, process, I guess, her inspirations. It was really fun to hear a lot of that stuff. But she also autographed a bunch of patterns for people when they asked her to, and I asked her to. I asked her to do 3. So the next 3 that I'm going to show you are all autographed now. So this one, this is Rapunzel. And I think this might have been the second Mirabilia I ever bought. It was a birthday present to myself, and she's autographed it for me. To Courtney, much love, Nora Corbett. So I suppose I'll never be parting with this pattern. And so here's my progress on Rapunzel. I did work on her at the retreat quite a bit as well. I did just more of her skirt over here, some like this, the beginning of these ribbons, and more of the green this way. So I really like that she's taking shape, and you can definitely tell what she is, unlike my mermaids so far. You can't really tell what they are yet, but you can tell that this is a person, and she has an arm, and there's going to be a face in there, hair, and a dress. So, yep, so again, that's what she'll look like. And there's a closer look at my progress. This is on 32 count Oaken from Picture This Plus. The next one I worked on is the original Mirabilia that I ever first started working on, and that is Sleeping Princess. This one she also autographed, but she kind of mucked up the first letter of my name. She wrote a K first instead of a C, and she apologized profusely. But she caught herself because she had asked me how to spell my name just moments before. But she also added a heart to this one. So that was really nice. This one has been, I've pulled this one out and put it back a lot to work on it at different times. And so the packaging has had a lot of wear, which kind of makes me sad now. But it's mine. It's not like I'll ever be getting rid of this one either. So Sleeping Princess, and I only worked on a little section of this at the retreat, but it was a very fun section because it was the first part of the mattresses that I started, right there. So I've had the princess herself done for quite a while, and I decided it was time to move on to something fun, some more colorful portions of the chart right there. So that's what I was doing. And it was actually moving really fast, but I only worked on this one for like one evening because I decided to go ahead and do a new start. Because you gotta do a new start. I was at the Mirabilia retreat, so I bought a new Mirabilia and I started it as well. This is one I had my eye on for a while. And so when I saw it there for sale, I was like, well, there's no better time than the present. So I bought the chart, and I also asked Nora to autograph it, which she did. This is Christmas in London. And she wrote for Courtney with a heart. And I started that one too. I bought the chart. The bead pack, the accessory pack, was not available at the retreat, so I'll have to order that separately later. But that's okay. It'll be certainly quite a long time before I'm actually ready to start putting embellishments on this chart. It is so huge, so busy, and it's going to be forever. But I did really want to actually start it at the retreat, so I also needed fabric, and after much debate, I went with a dark brown. I think this is called Coffee Bean, and it is a fabric, 32 count linen fabric from Witchelt. This actually came with a different Mirabilia that I got from another retreat before. And it goes, it's the fabric that's called for with the chart Circle of Friends. But I never intended to use it for that chart, and so this is what it's going to be. And you can see my meager start there, which actually was more substantial, and then I frogged it, but I'll get to that. So I chose the dark brown for this fabric because I was imagining this lady standing in her townhouse in London in the evening, and I imagined there to be beautiful dark wood floors and dark wood paneling on the walls of the library where she is. And so I thought a brown would really call that out. A couple things that made me hesitate were all the grays in this background work. You know, that sort of evokes stone, you know, or a different tone of shadow than would be on the dark brown. And so I thought I'll either leave some of that out, or I might change it to be a very, very dark brown. So like the carvings and like the clock and the carvings might be made out of even darker wood than the paneling of the walls. I don't know, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. I also hesitated a little bit because the back of her dress is in sort of a brownish gray color as well, and I was a little worried that it wouldn't show, which, I mean, I think that's like a valid concern, as you can tell, because that's what I started with. But I did do a floss toss, and it's not like you can't see it, it just doesn't jump out. But I don't think that a brown skirt is really meant to jump out anyway. Plus it will have beads at the end, and that'll make it really sparkly. So I think the pink will still pop very much, and she has a good bit of her dress actually against this red swag rather than against the dark background. So I don't know, I think we'll be okay. I might change this stag. There was one color in the browns that make up that stag's head at the bottom that was almost the same as this coffee bean linen, and so that I might convert and have a white stag's head at the bottom instead of a brown one. But again, I have plenty of time to make that decision later. And honestly, I really don't think I could go wrong if I didn't convert very much of this chart at all. But yeah, my idea for this is that I'll pull it out in December and work on it over Christmas time. I think that would be nice. And so that was the last Mirabilia that I had progress on to report. I haven't actually put this on a scroll frame yet. I already have so many Mirabilias on scroll frames, and so I think maybe I'll just try to finish one. Is that crazy? It might be crazy because I probably won't finish one by December, when I will want to start working on this more regularly. Maybe I could. If I really focused on one, maybe I could. I could probably finish Rapunzel by December if I worked on her regularly. But that's me thinking out loud. We got a bunch of stuff for free at the Mirabilia retreat, which was really generous. There were all sorts of sponsors of the event and vendors who brought stuff to sell. So here's just one example of something that we got. This wine glass Leslie put in our gift bags. It says, "Count twice, stitch once, no frogs allowed." It has a little frog on it. And the back is supposed to say Under the Sea Fabrics and have her website, but mine is a little bit rubbed off. But that's okay. I really like the frog at front. So this would make a lovely orth jar, or just a glass. But I've had it, not in my kitchen, I've had it sitting up on my craft shelf over there. My most recent project that I've been working on has been my Fabulous Women stitch along, and I'm pretty proud to say that I've finished a whole row of this already. So there they are. At the end of the stitch along, Clouds Factory sent out a coupon to everybody who participated in the stitch along that essentially gave you a free Fabulous Woman pattern. They had a bunch of extra women who didn't make it into the main stitch along, but that they had, you know, individual patterns for. And so the idea was, if you wanted to substitute out one of those women for one of the ones in the main pattern, you could use your coupon and get one for free. And so I did take advantage of that, and I got one for free, and I also bought another one myself. I did want to do a couple of substitutions from this stitch along, and so this row is as charted until the far right side. So you've got Marie Curie, Virginia Woolf, Coco Chanel, Eleanor Roosevelt, Amelia Earhart, Frida Kahlo, and then these two on the right are the ones, two of the ones that I'm going to substitute. So there was an Italian scientist here whose name I think was Rita Levi Montalcini or something like that. And I wasn't familiar with her before doing this stitch along, and I read her story and thought she was incredible. But she was a neuroscientist, and she studied the brain, and there was a brain that was part of the pattern that I didn't like. It squicked me out, and so I decided not to stitch her. So I replaced her with Grace Hopper. So this was the pattern I used my coupon for. Grace Hopper was an admiral in the United States Navy and pioneer computer scientist. So I thought she was really cool. And then on the far right here is a block that I actually designed myself. That's Julia Child, the chef. She had several cookbooks that she authored, and she had a television show that was very influential in American homes in the 60s, 70s, and after that for a while too. And also after I stitched this, I learned that she served in intelligence in World War II for the United States before she learned how to cook. So I thought that was a fun one to put on there too. In the original design, Rosa Parks was in this place, but I'm going to move her down to this row, put her right here, and I think I'm going to get rid of Marilyn Monroe, who is the one who was here, because I wanted to stitch someone who was less of a sex object, I guess, and someone who was still in entertainment, and so I went with Julia Child because I thought I could come up with a cute design for those little foods and stuff. So Julia Child's replacing Marilyn Monroe in my design. I think I figured out that they are ordered according to their year of birth, and so that's why I put Julia Child before Rosa Parks. The other block that I bought was Jane Goodall, the biologist who worked with chimpanzees. So she'll go somewhere in the middle of this lower row, and she will replace Rosie the Riveter, I think, because I wanted all of the women on here to be actual individuals from history, and Rosie is composite, I guess, an emblem of a whole class of women in World War II who were entered the American workforce when a lot of the men were deployed. So anyway, that's my progress on Fabulous Women. Pretty happy with that so far. And now I'll just show you a couple of new things that I've got. I picked up some 28 count opalescent linen in white because I'm anticipating maybe making more ornaments and stuff. I don't really have a specific purpose in mind for this, but I'm sure it'll be useful. So that is enhancing my stash. And then the last thing is another pattern, along with fabric and floss to do it on. So this is called Wonderful Life by Heart and Hand, and it says how wonderful life is now that you are in the world. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and stitch this up as a birth sampler for my own baby. Yes, I'm very excited to tell you that I'm expecting a child, and I'm already 5.5 months along, so you can see. And it's a boy, so he'll probably be born by early November this year. I don't really have a particular theme in mind for his nursery or anything, except that a lot of the things that I've seen that are cute and that I've put on my registry have animals on them, and so I said that to the ladies who were at Stitches from the Heart, and they said, oh, have you seen this pattern from Heart in Hand? And they went to the back and pulled out a finished project of it, and I said, oh my goodness, it's perfect, I'll take one. And so I'm going to stitch this for my baby boy, and I bought flosses to do it with. And there are some buttons that came with it too. Very cute. And the fabric that I've chosen to do this on is Dryad from Under the Sea Fabrics. This is a 32 count linen, and it was one of the Fabric of the Month fabrics one time, and it's a green with some browns and stuff modeled through it. So this is Dryad. I consulted my husband for picking this fabric because I also thought about doing it on like a gray or on a blue, and he said that he liked this fabric best because it reminds him of the forest floor, and I agreed, and so we'll be doing this pattern on this fabric, and we'll hang it wherever our little boy is going to sleep. Eventually he'll have his own room, but we aren't quite sure yet how it's going to work. We don't have any kids. This is our first one. I kind of imagine that at least for a while he'll stay in our room with us while he's really small, but I don't know. Big change coming. The other big change that's coming for us is that we're moving houses. So this house is a rental house that we're in right now. It turns out that the person who owns this house wants to sell it, and we decided that we don't want to keep renting for another year. We would rather buy our own house, and we didn't want to buy this one. We wanted one that was further outside of the city than we are right now, maybe with a little more elbow room. And so we shopped around and we found something we really like. So probably in mid-August, if all goes as planned, we will move houses as well. And so this might be my last video with this particular background. Who knows when my next one will be, I don't know. But in all likelihood, I probably won't get another one done in the next month or so before we move. So, yeah, lots happening. Busy life. But that's all that I have to show you with regard to cross-stitching and tell you in terms of updates. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.